Mike, do you even still sell real estate?
Mike, do you even do deals anymore and sell homes or what?
But Mike, do you even still sell homes or real estate at all?
Mike, do you even sell real estate anymore?
The truth is, Mike Sherrard does not sell houses anymore. He probably won't ever sell houses again. And in the house selling business, why are people even talking about him?
That seems to be the million-dollar question that, to be completely honest, shouldn't even exist, but it does. So in today's video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Now, before I get into the video, I will say that I created my YouTube channel to be a valuable resource to help agents around the world scale their business the modern way. And I'm very humbled to say that many tell me it's done just that. But I continue to hear these little things, particularly from agents in my local market, saying things like, Mike, you've never been a top producer, what are you talking about? Mike, do you even still sell real estate? Mike only does social media. So in today's video, I'm going to do something a bit different. And here's what I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to talk to you about what I actually do. Number two, I'm going to answer those three questions. And number three, I'm going to pull it all together to give you a lesson on how to deal with negative, small-minded, jealous people that might be in your market. Because as you start to put yourself out there on social media, you become very vulnerable and you're easily accessible and people can see what they believe you're up to. And you make yourself more susceptible to negativity and rumors and all kinds of nonsense, even when you're sitting here minding your own business, because to be completely honest, that's exactly what I do. Comparison is the death of joy. And that's a quote that I hope you'll forever remember, because if you look at my social media, I follow almost no realtors from my local market because, to be completely honest, I couldn't care less what any of them are doing. As a new agent, I found myself comparing myself to other agents. I was saying, why does this person have that listing? Why does this person close that property? When I was trying to build my own business, and I realized that if I continue to compare myself to other people, then I'm never going to be satisfied. So now I only compare myself to myself. And that's worked wonders for my business because now I'm fulfilled, now I'm happy, I'm working on my own stuff, and I'm always pushing my own limits, because what people seem to forget is that despite what other people are saying, nobody will ever be a harsher critic on myself than me. So let's get straight into this with first the lesson, and then I'll answer the questions. So the lesson here, starting with number one, is first off, you're never going to be hated on, or there's never going to be negativity coming from somebody that's done more than you. And I've seen this because all of my mentors, all the way up to people like Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, Gerard Adams, all 8-9-figure entrepreneurs, no one that I know that's actually successful spends any second of time talking negatively about anyone else. They're all about shedding love, sharing inspiration, and not paying any attention to the people that don't even matter. Because any of the agents that are saying anything, I don't even know who they are. And they're always ones that when I look at it, aren't doing more. So if you start to get some of this negativity, just understand it's never going to come from somebody that's done more than you or that's more successful than you, because people don't become successful by being that way. Now, lesson number two is a bit of an interesting one that I hope you take to heart, which is the fact that the only people that do this kind of stuff, which is negative Nancy, all kinds of BS, are the people that are jealous, they're insecure, and they're not happy with themselves or their business. So they decide to try and claw other people down by being negative and saying things like that to try and bring them down. But what you have to understand is exactly that, is the fact that that's a reflection of them. That's a reflection of their own business, not a reflection of you. Because just because somebody says something does not mean it's true. So all of these people that I've ever heard in my local market saying different things, or even in other markets, have never met me in person, have no idea what I do. And now what we're going to do is roll into those questions. So the first one is easy, is Mike, you've never been a top producer. Stop saying that you have. Well, I don't really know what to say here, because as you can see here, guys, I've got my top producer awards. I've got many others that I can show people from, various years, as you can see here. But what you need to understand is that each person gets into the business for their own reasons. And so many agents say, Mike, I get into the business because I want to make an impact on other people. Well, to me, that doesn't just have to mean making an impact on buyers and sellers. For me, I love making an impact on agents. For example, when I get things like this in the mail from companies like the Red X, who sent me this big autographed thing saying that when I spoke, when they flew me down to their headquarters and I spoke, I made a massive impact on all of these people's lives at their headquarters. I have impacted thousands of agents over the last 12 months, helping them scale their business the modern way with my training, my tools, and my resources. And I've built an exceptionally fast-growing group at EXP with the feedback that's been unbelievable. And that inspires me. And that's another lesson for you guys is, why does it matter how many deals I'm doing? Why do you care about what I've done, what I'm currently doing, or any of that? Because the reason why all of these agents that are saying this negative stuff aren't where they want to be is because they're spending time talking about other people. And if they spend that time that they spend talking and gossiping on prospecting and networking and video creation, they would probably have the business that they want, but they don't, because that's the type of people that they are. And those are the type of people that I just don't associate with myself. So let's answer these few questions, which we already know I have been a top producer, which leads me to number 2. Am I still even selling houses anymore? Do I sell any properties? Well, yes and no. So let me break this down. I haven't done many deals over the last 12 months by purpose for a couple different reasons. Number 1, as you see, I've found my passion in changing the lives of thousands of other agents. And if that is not something credible enough or inspiring enough or successful enough for the people talking, then I truly don't know what is. And the second thing is yes, I still do real estate, actually quite a decent amount of real estate, but I just don't do any production myself. So because I am with EXP, I have a number of agents that are here in my group locally. So I send any leads and clients that I get to the agents in my group locally so that I can groom them, mentor them, and help them start to close deals. Also, I send a lot of referrals to people in my group in different states, provinces, and countries. But I don't do a lot of transactions myself personally anymore for a couple of different reasons. The first one being is I do quite well from my social media content. Over the last 12 months, I've done over 7 figures just from my social media content. That is not including what I make from YouTube, from EXP, or from my marketing and branding agency, or my investments. So I'm not going to disclose exact numbers. I'll throw something up on the screen here that shows you that one income stream that I'm talking about, which is my social media. But there's a couple things to unpack here. Number 1, I get more excitement from this. When I get messages from agents saying that I've made such a massive difference in their life and helped them double their business or break through plateaus, that inspires me. And number 2 is the fact that I make about a commission every day or two residually from my online content. So it doesn't actually make sense for me if you break down my hourly rate, if I was to reverse engineer how much I would make if I went out and showed properties or if I started listing properties. It doesn't really make sense for me to do that because I would be losing money based on what I could do if I reinvested it into creating more content. So the next thing is, does Mike just do social media? Well, no, I don't just do social media. As I talked about, I do a ton of other things, but I really love this space and I've found my zone of genius where people are giving me video testimonials all the time saying that I have made a massive difference. And to me, that is fulfilling and that should be enough for anybody. So I wanted to just break this down because I want you guys to understand if you guys are getting any of this negative BS that are coming from people that have no idea what they're talking about, they have no credibility, and they're not doing anything close to what you're doing. They're just jealous. I talked to you about how to deal with that and how to understand why they're acting that way. Now, hopefully my answer to your questions being that I have been a top producer, I do still do transactions, I just give them to agents in my group, and I don't just do social media, I do quite a bit of different things, but this is my passion. And to be honest, whenever I see anybody like Tom Ferry, for example, who doesn't close a single deal in his life, but he gets a lot of praise, he's doing something very similar, just in a different space on the more traditional side. So at the end of the day, I'm extremely happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm coming off of my best year ever by miles, and this year is going to be absolutely insane. So hopefully this gives you some context as to the nonsense that's being said out there from people that have no clue what they're talking about. And if you deal with any of this, I'd love to know. So just drop a comment below and share any of your stories or any of your feedback, because we're all in this crazy journey together, and we're here to actually support each other by people that are positive, that are action takers, and that actually have big enough goals and are going to achieve them. So hopefully this gives you some context. Thanks so much for tuning in and supporting my content. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time.